Okay, so let's start. So this is the when you download the Biotime 8 application, right? This is what you are going to get. You are going to get this interface, and this interface has a whole lot of information that you need to understand before you even log in, right? In this section here, you have the admin login. So when you click on this tab, it means you want to log in as an admin. Here you have the self-service, right? When you click on this tab, it means you want to log in as an employee. So the application gives users the ability to be able to log in. The application gives users the ability to be able to log in also and perform some self-service option. So this can either be done using the mobile app or done using the application itself. And I'm going to show us that. I hope we have our applications with us. So the reason why I'm going to be using this URL is because I want everybody to try it. Right, I want everybody to have an experience. So I'm going to choose thumbs up if you've downloaded the application. If you've downloaded the mobile app, thumbs up. Lawrence, I've downloaded the mobile app. Wando Chile has downloaded the mobile app. Friday. So the three of you, I want you to have the mobile app with you. And we are going to be going through some walkthroughs. But before that, you'll see the icon here. This is the info icon, right? This is the info icon. So the info icon is where you get like your informations about the application itself, the licensing, the customer code. And a lot of people ignore this part, but this part is one of the most important parts when it comes to the application itself. So here you have the software version, right? And you have the build number. So the build is, you can see 2026-05-14. So this was like last month. This was released last month on the 14th of last month. So the build was released on the 14th of last month, and it's very important for you to check the application, to check the websites. You know, I told you the ZK Biotime websites, you can get the updates of the new build. So if there's a new build, you are going to see the latest updates here, and you can install it. So when you install it, overwrites the other one, so it's not like a difficult process, right? So it's important to always work on the new build for your client. So then here you have the authorized informations, right? So in the authorized informations, this is where you get okay. Yeah, in the authorized information, right, this is where you see your customer code, your device counts, and like other things, right? App employee counts, app counts, the authorized dates, and the expired dates, right? It's mostly permanent because the license is one-off, right? When you install the license, you get it one-off, right? When you install when you activate the license. So there are two methods for license activation. I'm going to go to Excalibur, and which we need to really understand. The first one is the online activation, and the second one is offline activation. First one is the online activation method. Second one is the offline activation method. So if you look at, so let me log into because I'm not going to see the information here, because there's some sort of restriction, because this is a public demo accounts that is being hosted by us at ZKTeco. So I'm going to show you the account residing on my own application. So I'm just going to load up my application. 18281. This is my own internal software, right? So I'm going to show us. So you can see here that the information I have is different because I have the overall root access. So here I have the license activation. So there are two ways in which you can activate license. You have the online activation, you have the UPK, you have the offline application, you have the online upgrade, right? And you have the export and import license, you have the deactivation, offline deactivation, right? So these parts, they are actually very important, and I think a lot of people miss out on this. The online activation is used to activate your license, the license you receive from either the OEM or your SI, right? It's actually comes in something like this, where you have you can have something like biometrics, license, no, let me say license, biometric, the company name, maybe ZK Limited or your company, right? Then you have this hyphen xn dot xml. So you have the file name like this, right? So it has to end with SN. If the file doesn't end with SN, the license file will not work. So let me give you an example. Say I want to update this license. It will tell me to choose a file name that ends with -xn.xml. So the reason is that XML is a type of file extension, right? It's a markup language, and it's the code steps, right? Ties itself to the system MAC address, which is this file, and because it is because the server itself needs to identify that, okay, this XML file I'm receiving, this is what it is for, right? So it is end with this xn.xml. So because you are doing an online activation, so when you input this license, what you are getting is a your XM file that was given to you. You upload it here, you input your company name, your details and everything, then your industry, supplier, telephone. These informations are important. Then you activate your license. So if you have something like xn1.xml, this is not going to work. If you have xn.xml, this is not going to work. If you have biometrics.xml, this is not going to work. Your file has to end with sn.xml, right? So it has to end with -xn.xml. So that's for the online activation, right? So if you are given any file and it doesn't end with xn, then that file is not a license file that's meant to be used for online activation. Then there are some cases where online activation might fail, right? Even when you use the xn.xml. And those cases include cases where probably there's a server downtime with our licensed server at HQ, like it happens. It happens rarely, but say it happens, we have the option of offline activation, right? So for the offline activation, you can get the license in two ways. The first way is to request for it. The second way is to visit the ZKTeco portal, right? So in the ZKTeco portal, to generate the uh, license file for the offline license file for an online license file, you need to download the UPK. So you need to download offline license file. You will need online license file plus UPK. Yeah, so you need this. The offline license file activation has its own convention also. It ends with, say you have a license named Biometric ZK Limited. That it has to end with license.xml. If it doesn't end with -license.xml, it is not going to work. It has to end with -license.xml. The name can be one -license.xml. It needs to end with the suffix -license.xml. So you have to pay attention to that. And for you to get that, you need two files. You need the online license file and you need the UPK, which is provided there for you to download. Now, to generate the offline activations, you need to visit a portal, and that portal is called the ZK portal. You need to visit the main ZK portal. So if I come back to this place, of course, you need to log in. So I said, as an installer, you need to log in you need to ensure that you register on this platform, because you actually gain a whole lot of resources to it. How many of us have downloaded the ZK Bio Partner? I asked us yesterday to download it and share screenshots in the group. All right. So I'm going to log in. I'm going to log in to my account now. I'm logged in. I'm going to go to support. And so when you log in, right, you go to support. Like you see the support, you come down, and here you see after sales service. Right, you see after sales service. In after service, then you now select license activation. So this part is available for everybody. Then you now scroll, you now look for ZK Biotime offline activation license, right? So when you click on it, it will take you to this part. So in this part, you could see it asks that you should provide your SN file and the UPK file. Your SN file is the license that was issued to you, the online license. So take note, I said for you to use the offline license, it means there's something wrong with your offline activation, right? Probably there's a server downtime from ZKN just for few days, and you really needed to, update your license. So this is important. So I met some people. This is very, very important, right? So you need to upload the SN file and the UPK file. And here you've been given the instructions, and also you've been given a manual to activate on how to activate license, step-by-step guidelines. So I'm going to download this. You're also going to see how this works. So for you to know that ZK, provides you with like everything you need. You just need to, search and search the right, the right path. You just need to search the right path. So you can see the license manual, like a lot of how to activate online, offline activation. So you can click on it. It tells you, gives you step-by-step process with screenshots. So we've given you this information, right? If that doesn't work, we've given you step-by-step, download your UPK, come to the ZK websites and upload your UPK and your license file, which is this. So when you upload your online license file and your UPK, you are going to get a file. You are going to get an offline license file. So so that is how to register the offline activation. So when you've gotten your offline license file, so you can now come to offline activation and impute your file. So you can see here that it's written that file name should end with -license.xml. So the name of your file has to end with -license.xml. So you really need to pay attention to that. I know some of us already understand this, so you can see where the UPK comes into play, right? So the online upgrade. So the online upgrade works very simple, very unique in the sense that, so let's say you get a license for 10 device and let's say 50 app counts, right? And I want to increase from 20 to 20 device and 100 app, right? I want to add on to my license. So you need to get another license. You just need to contact the salesperson and you make your payment. And when you make your payment, so instead of reactivating the file, you don't need to do all that. You just click on online upgrade. So once you click on online upgrade, the license would sync with what has been provisioned for it online, and you get your device count and your app count activated, or your employee counts. You understand? So that is how license activation works. For license migration, so a lot of people also miss out on this. This is one of the most important parts, and it's one of the key parts. So I admit those person. Apologies, we're having some users joining. I have to add everybody. Okay, so the license migration part is one of the most important parts, right? A lot of people miss out on this, and they go through processes that are not really necessary. Let's say you have a server, right? I've installed the server, I've updated my license, right? And I'm moving to another, let's say tomorrow I want to change this server, I'm moving to another server. What you are expected to do is to export license here from your old server, and on the new server where you've installed the software, you now import the license that you exported here, you import it on the other server. So when you import it on the other server picks up that license, and very easy peasy way of doing things. But the thing is that some installers, what they do is they will now send mail for resets, right? For ZK reset. And for ZK resets, ZK will only reset license for you just I think 3 to 4 times. After that, they will charge you. So if your server did not crash and they are just doing migration, so the best thing is to export and import your license. So then we have the license deactivation, right? So license deactivation, like the name implies, you don't want to use the license anymore. Probably you want to get a new license. It's not sufficient for what you want to do, so you can run online or offline deactivation. Then here you have the driver download, fingerprint driver, palm driver, or face driver. So the driver part is needed for enrollment. If you are going to be getting enrollment devices to register users fingerprints, you need to download driver and install that driver on your system. So that's that for the software version part. Then you have the app download where you download the your application from App Store, or you download from Play Store. So I'm going to log in now so I'm going to switch to the demo account provided from HQ. So I'll be switching both intermittently because there might be some things missing here that are not there. I'm going to log in here. So I'm logging in as an admin because admin is the first instance that you can log in as. So I'm going to log in as an admin. So now I'm logged in as an admin. So you can see when you log in, like you have a whole lot of information. So the reason I'm using this demo is that for you to see like how the data are displayed, right? So you're going to see a whole lot of information, statistics, right? You see real-time monitoring. So this shows a real-time monitoring. This is someone clocking in from Vietnamese, right? And with their picture, this is someone checking for overtime. And this is a mobile check-in. Mobile check-in will display your exact location. So you can see this is Jalan Bintaro Pesangra Kota, Indonesia. So this person checked in at this exact location in Indonesia. So that will tell you that the application monitors for real-time logs and real-time events. So if there's a check-in on a device, you're going to get the details here immediately. So for organizations that wants to monitor like employee clock in or clock out, they can actually have a dashboard, a big dashboard screen that displays this information in their HR office. Here you have the statistics that shows you the total number of employees that are present, the total number of employees that are absent. You get the percentage distribution statistics of this, and you have these mini icons here that helps you filter based on department. Like in a department, you want to know the total number of employees that are present in that department, right? So you get that statistics. So let's say you are an HR for a big organization and you want to quickly get the statistics of the total number that are present in one unit or one division in one division of an organization, right? You want to get those statistics, right? So this is very suitable for HRs, right? So you can actually change your department. So if I say I want for SPS, right, the system is going to, load up and give me the statistics of the employees that are present in the SPS department. So if I don't want any, I can just confirm, and the system just, roll back to the initial display of the count statistics between the total number of employees present and the total number of employees that are absent. And also you have this small filter here where you can filter by area also, right? If you have different areas, you want to know the total number of employees that are present in a particular areas, right? So Area is so a device identifier. Area is a device location identifier. Area works, directly with the device. So you have that, and you have this here. So as an HR doing their reports, they don't need to be plotting this on the graph. They can just easily download as PNG, download the graph, this particular graph as PNG. And also you have the device status, same thing applies. You can filter by area, and look at the statistics of the devices that are online and the devices that are offline. So it gives you that measure of devices that are offline, devices that are online, and devices that are connected but are not authorized yet to actually be, on the application. So here you have the department statistics, where you have all the statistics of the department. You have the monthly summary, right? You have this clock here that gives you like a date range to define where you want to get your monthly summary. And also the HR also have the uh, where they can schedule, have like a schedule list, see their to-do list for the things that I require. An employee applied for leave, the admin can actually see it. Oh, I have this leave. Okay, am I going to approve? Am I going to reject? They can take immediate action, right, based on this, right, based on this information, right? So these are the things you can either approve or either reject. So this dashboard actually gives you like lots of things, lots of informations that you can actually do, quick informations for the HR to actually determine what is happening and what is ongoing. So so far, do we get the path from the license to the dashboard? We have a question. Ahmed, you want to ask a question?
Yeah, good morning. This dashboard, will it be only be available to the administrator, or because you are saying the HR will approve? So I'm trying to think, like, will other users have this particular dashboard to be able to approve some other things too here?
Yeah, so it depends on the permissioning you are giving them. So we'll get there. Uh, one to Chelly. So it depends on the permission you are going to give them. So when we get there, you understand. Yeah.
Okay, good
Yeah.
morning,
Good
sir.
morning.
Please, sorry, my question is in regards to yesterday end class where you talked about HTTS and HTT.
Okay. Do you know what? Just keep that till we end the section. We don't want to digress. So whatever question you want to ask should be on the license and this part. Okay. So if you have
Okay, no
more
problem.
questions on yesterday class, you can drop it as a chat so that we won't get lost in conversation.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, so let's proceed. So that's it for the dashboard. So if you look at the modules, so there are a lot of modules there, and we are going to be paying keen attention because this is an attendance application to this personnel device attendance system modules. We're also going to brush through these other modules, because they are not as important, but I'm going to brush through them. So if you come to the personnel module, right, you have these sub modules here. You have the organization, you have the employee, you have the workflow, you have the configuration. Right. So in the organization, this is where like you want to have an hierarchical distribution of how you want to set your the company. It's very simple. In a company, we have departments, and each department will have positions, head of accounts, head of technology, head of HR, head of admin, you have all those things here in position. In departments, you create different departments, and departments can also have a parent, right? Let's see, if I click on add department, all right, I can see, I can create a department and add a superior to it. So let's say you have a very large organization, and in each department there's units, right? You can create that department and create the units under that department. So then you can also specify a manager for that department. So the manager is an employee, so you can know that, okay, this department has this department manager, right? So just for hierarchical distribution of your organization structure. And then you have the position, create as much position as possible, HOD, head of account, director, executive director, you know, this is where that's applied. Then you have the areas, right? Area is actually a device identifier, right? Area is a location that determines the position of a device. So let's take, for example, you are in the organization, you have an organization with multi-floor levels, like 5 floors, and each of the floor is a department on its own. And you have 5 devices, you have 1 devices on each of those levels, right? So say you have 5 levels. Level 1, one, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So say you have 5 levels, right? So this is level 1. This is level 2. This is level 3. This is okay, so this is level 4, and the down one is level 5. So let's just, so as not to waste our time. So on each of the levels, you have a device each on each of the levels. So let's see, this is our device, right? On each of the levels. Right, this is device 2 on level 2, device 3 on level 3, device 4 on level 4, device 5 on level 5, right? So, and you have them in each levels. Level 3, level 4, level 5, right? So this represent devices. Let's see, device name is MB460, right? Then you have this represents the flows, right? Flows. So now the way area works is you want to identify, area identifies the position of that device, right? So it is what the system used to know the it is what the system used to identify the device. That's okay, this device, this is this device, this is this device. So area is what is used. So let's say you have 5 floors and you have different devices on the five floors. So I can name this area as area floor 1. You know, like that. Name the second one area floor 2, area floor 3. So in cases where employees are meant to clock in on employees for floor 1, they clock in on floor 1. Employees of floor 2, they clock in and clock out on floor 2. So, but one area can serve multiple devices also. Do you understand? One area can serve multiple devices. So take, for example, you have the 5 floors, and they want it to be that, okay, for these 5 floors, we want employees to be able to clock in and clock out on any of the floor, right? So you can now assign one area to that particular device. Then you can now name the area, floor area, right? So let's say you now have this building, you have them like multiplied in 5 places. So you can now have different area, floor area 1, floor area 2, floor area 3, and attach the devices. So when you assign those areas, the system is now going to adopt the employees that are necessary for that areas. It's going to adopt those employees into the devices. So if an employee is meant to be on this particular area, and this particular area is attached to this particular device, so it means the system will be able to transfer this particular employee to this particular device, so that employee can now clock in on that device. So it makes it easy. So let's say I assign area to all these devices, and I just only need to register employee information on one of the devices, right? So if I have 450 employees here, employees on this device, right? So because this device is same thing with as the area name of all the other device, because every other device has, the same area name as to all these devices. So what will now happen is that if I do a sync, all these 450 employees would now be distributed to each of these devices. So you don't now have to register employees on multiple. So you don't have to register employee on this device, go and register on the other device. No. So you can now, sync the employee data across those devices, provided those devices are same model and they are, they are in the same area. But if they are not in the same area, the software will not automatically sync the users to the device, right? So I want us to really get that part very clear. So that is the area. So I want questions on this. Yeah, Adeleke.
Good morning, everyone.
Yeah, good morning.
So there was a particular time you are talking about this. I not get the part because my network is breaking. For the employees that when you enroll on one floor, the other areas. I don't know if you can repeat that part again. I not get my network was breaking. So that was when I was raising up my hand.
Okay. So what I'm saying is that if you assign an area to one area, if you assign one area to multiple devices, you can enroll user on one of those devices, and the system would sync the other users across the other devices. But if those devices are different areas, you might not be able to achieve that sync to other devices. So even if the data are being pushed to the other devices, the clock in, clock out of the employees will not work properly as expected. So it means on one device, if the system reads check-in on one device, then on another area, an employee checks in the reports, you just be seeing check-in instead of seeing check-in and check-out. So we are going to see how that plays out also. So it's always important to ensure that you listen to the client's requirement. So if the client says on every floor, employees can clock in on every floor and clock out on every floor. So then that means you have to set the same area for all the devices. But if it is a process of this particular set of people, they can only clock in this device. So let's take, for example, companies like Dangote or Total, that have multiple branches, right? They can say they only want people in this branch, or iFitness, they can say they only want people in this branch to clock in this branch, right? People in this branch should not clock in the other branch. So you can achieve that by separating the areas. But if they now say they want people in this branch to clock in this branch and also clock in another branch, right? Then you can now say, okay, let's do a whole area scope. So you can now name the area, say Lagos, add all the employees, add all the devices in that Lagos, area. Yeah, Friday.
Okay, thank you. I want to try to play this in. Let me see if I got this explanation. Okay, I don't know if it's the same thing where I've had a scenario where the company, they have floor 1, 2, and 3. So some users were given access to enter and exit from in floor 1, 2, and 3. So why some were just given access to exit in floor 1 and all that? So is it the same thing where I have an access, I've been given an access to enter from any store and door and exit from that same door? Is it the same thing you're trying to explain? I want to see if I got it.
So we really need to understand that we are talking about attendance in this case. We are not talking about access control.
Yes, I know. I just use the access control actually, but
yes,
so
it's similar. Yeah, it's similar. It's kind of similar to what you just talked about. That the people on this floor, they should only have access to this device. But in attendance term, we call it check-in. They should only check in and check out on this device, or you call it clocking. They should only clock in and clock out. Because when you say access, it's another terminology entirely, right? So access means restrictions to a particular place, you understand? So it's the same terminology, but in this case, you just use clock in and clock out. So it's basically all about data transfer. So if you go to the device module, so we are still in the personnel module. So in the personnel module, if you go to the employee, right? So if I click on add employee, so you are going to see last name, the area, the hire date. So you are going to see all these, informations that are required, right? These informations, they are informations that you need to input about the employees. There are things we know, and you see the parts that are asterisks. You can see that the employee ID is asterisk, the department is asterisk, and the area name is asterisk, which means you have to register this. You have to ensure that data is being inputted in these 3 parts before anything. So if I click on the area, you can see that area must be specified when you are creating an employee, and an employee can be in multiple areas, right? You can have an employee be in multiple areas. This means when the system sees this, the system will distribute this employee on all the devices that are meant for that area. Do you understand? So this is where you select that you had an employee to a particular area. So here you have the private information, the other informations you can also, add for the employees. Then you have the device access settings. So this part is meant for their rules on the device. Whatever you set here once the device has been added to the software, whatever thing you set here goes to the device. So if I say this employee is a super administrator, it's a super administrator. So it means the device will be logged automatically. The device will be automatically logged. So you won't be able to access the device unless this user comes and use the authentication here to, access the device. So most times, if you make that mistake, you can just come back here and set the employee back to the employee, and the device will open up. So a lot of people make that mistake when they register an employee, and they mistakenly set the employee as the super admin or the system admin. So here you now have the attendance settings. So I'm going to create an employee for this test case. I'm going to name it 1000 and IT. So I'm going to create employee for, how many of us have registered the application? I've downloaded the application, the ZK Biotime application. Okay, so okay, good. So I'm going to be, so when, if you open the application, you are going to see on the bottom right corner, you are going to see where they put server configuration. Server configuration. Can we see that there? So I'm going to also set up yes. So can we see it? Raise thumbs up if you can see that part. Good. So in that part, you see where they put server IP and server ports, right? So in that server IP, I want us to put this URL: HTTPS Biotime SM ZKTeco for now.
Please, what do you say we should put, please?
I want us to put this. Let me just put it here. In the server port, server address, I want us to put HTTPS. This, let's put this. I want us to put this in the ports. I want us to put 443. So I want us to put this. Have we done that? Thumbs up if we've done that. I want us to thumbs up if we've done that. Yeah, I'm going to create share. I'm going to, so in these attendance settings, so this is where you set self-service, right? Self-service password, allow
Hello.
login for self-service, right? So, and in this app settings, so this is where you now enable app for this employee. So I'm going to enable this app myself. App role is going to be employee, and I can confirm. So I'm going to be adding 3 more people. I'm going to be adding Friday. The ID for Friday is, so first I'm going to log in my username.
maybe you don't have this something you haven't had, maybe we go after lunch. When you finish, but
Minutes. Server IP is ZK Biotime dot XM ZKTeco. Yeah. Startup has been enabled. So I'm going to log out. So I'm going to be creating 3 accounts Friday. 80 first floor. Let's do this. 6 self password, login allowed, enable role employee. Okay, what other field? Okay, 7 8 C. Okay, it has to meet the complexity. Okay, let's say admin. I think this should work. Okay, let's do the same. So I'm going to do the same here. Who else, Ismail? So now we can ask our question pending the time I do this setup. Yeah, Ismail.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yes, if I say I get it, I'm lying
Okay.
because as you just opened this employee page, I opened it as well on my system, and I can't find anywhere to enter the server IP you are saying. The server.
No. So you have to follow. I said open the ZKTeco Biotime application. When I say
Yes.
application, mobile application.
Okay, on the phone.
Mobile application on our phone. Have we opened Friday?
Yes, I have my own open. I've imputed the server IP.
The server IP. Okay.
Yes, and the ports. Yes.
So
Waiting for
I hope
the login.
did. So the login is, so you are going to use, your username is going to be 10005, and your password is going to be admin at 123, the capital. Admin at 123. Yeah, then
capital A.
Yeah, capital A. Note that you have to have internet on your phone so that you can be able to connect to the server. Good. Anybody else? Anybody else that know that more person?
I've opened mine also. I've opened mine also.
Okay, so I'm going to create for admin.
Okay, I think I'm getting it now, sir. I'm getting it now.
Yeah, so Anu is 1006.
Ajala.
I'm going to Anu. Okay, and Ajala is the last person I'm creating for. So okay, let's do for Anu. So remember, set your self-service password. I'm going to give the same password, admin at 123. Log in
Request for me too.
Is that the company name?
and start.
That's why they ask.
So I know so you guys, the application is ZK Biotime. ZK Biotime. The application is ZK Biotime, right? So what I'm demonstrating here, hello?
Yeah, so please share the link, share the server IP on the message.
So this is the server IP. I just need 3 people. Everybody, you don't have to, everybody doesn't have to do it, but the 3 people I've registered for, they should just do it.
Please, can we get that server IP, sir, please?
This is the server IP.
Okay.
But so for
Sir, do we all have to register? Do we all have to register, please? Sorry,
no, not everybody. No, not everybody. I need just 3 people, and I've gotten the 3 people. I've gotten Anu, Friday, and Ajala. These are the 3 people. Anu, Friday, and Ajala. Can you guys?
Yeah. So by mine, this is not logging in. 1005.
Hold on. Not 10005.
5. Yeah, 000.
Mine too is not logging.
Just hold on. Hold on, everybody. Let me just complete the setup for Ajala. Okay. Okay. So now, first for Anu, can you unmute?
Yes.
So you're at the top, at the bottom right corner of your application, your Biotime application. Can you see the bottom right corner? So you are going to input HTTPS. HTTPS //ZKBiotime.xmzkteco.com.
Yes, I've done that.
Now, in the server ports, you put 443. Have you done that?
Yes.
Now, click on save. You have to ensure that you have internet on your phone.
I have internet. Internet.
So, have you saved?
Yes, but it's saying network error. Well,
it's because you don't have internet. So,
I'm
any other person
can't it connect to our company's Wi-Fi?
Can you try and browse?
Yes. Like, can't it connect to company's Wi-Fi? Because I'm using the Wi-Fi to connect to what I'm
using your Wi-Fi. So if you are using your Wi-Fi on the company, it should work.
Yes.
Right.
And
so
that's the same Wi-Fi I'm using to attend this meeting.
Yeah, the same thing with me.
What are you getting?
It's saying error.
I'm getting network error.
In
and
server
the same network I'm using. Yes, the server configuration.
HTTPS. Can you? Okay, so
my own is successful. Mine is successful already.
So
okay,
if you're having that error, it means it is either your network is wrong or you are imputing something. You are imputing something else entirely.
Okay. Let me
check that. So for Ajala, since you've been able to, it's successful. So Ajala, you log in with your username will be 10007.
What I mean, my login. My login has been successful. I was successful on the HTTP.
You are successful on the good. So have you been able to log in to access this page?
Yes, I've sent it to the group, to the WhatsApp group.
Very good. So for Friday and Anu, I really need you to get this. If it is network, let's try and fix our network. So yeah.
Hello, sir. I was able
Yeah.
to log in using 10005 Friday one.
Friday on. Oh, so you've been
Yes.
able to log in with Friday on. Good, good. So you are
Yes.
faster than Friday, so it doesn't matter. So now that, so let's just proceed. If you are not able to log in, just follow up with us. So in this case, you could see how the configuration is done. The reason why you're able to achieve this is because this URL here is publicly accessible. You understand? Because it's publicly accessible, you can easily set up your mobile app configuration for your employees. And we are going to move forward to where geotagging and geofencing applies for different employees, but we are going to get there. So I want you to keep that app, just have it logged in with you. So let's move on.
Okay, I've gotten it. Yeah.
Yeah, good. So let's move on. Let's have the app with us and let's move on. I'll go back to the employees. So here you have documents, any other document the employee wants to add, so you can have that. Then you have the payroll setting. This is for the payroll module, so it's just to keep track. You have the bank name, bank accounts. So payroll setting is kind of dynamic, and the reason why it's dynamic is because different organizations have different payroll structures and different payroll formulas, and most times organizations use payroll companies, but the payroll module of Biotime allows you to do certain configurations, which I'm also going to, show us, but we have to move fast. Then you have the custom attributes and the leave group. So in the employee, you can import employees in the company. So in the case where, say, you are registering multiple users and you have large users you want to register, so you can easily download a template, input in Excel formats. So you can download the templates here, so you can see this part. So input all the names, but the names have to be canonical. Like, you have to ensure that the names matches what is required, right, and the format that is required in the table. So you have to download that. So when you download it, so you can now import those employees. So this is used when you have very large number of employees. Then you have the app. So if you don't want to enable employee app in this part, you can choose to enable employee app in this part also. So, and also disable. So then you have more, where you resynchronize employees to device, you upload data to device, you can delete a biometric template, you can export an employee to your USB flash, you can reset an employee password, and you can reset an employee device password. Also, that if they've forgotten their password, so you don't need to come to ZK and say admin lock. No, you can just reset the employees device password directly from the application. Then here you have the resign for employees that have resigned. So this is where they are. You can resign an employee. So in the personnel transfer, I can do a resignation for the employee. So this part, I'm brushing through this part because we have a whole lot to cover. So I'll also implore us to, log in and, study each of these parts ourselves. They are seamless, they are simple. The third part is the workflow. So the workflow is approval levels, right? Approval levels for different employees. So let's say as an employee, you want to take a leave, and the leave permission has to pass through different level of HODs and all those things. So the admin can create what they call workflow builder. So first, they create a workflow rule for that employee. So they code the role name, leave, assign an employee to that leave. When an employee is assigned, you can now go to workflow builder and build the workflow rule for that employee. So the content type, if the employee is going on leave, if the employee is doing overtime, so you can add that different workflow. So the more workflow you create, you can add different approval levels. So you can add as much as possible. So each of these levels, they approve before the leave gets adopted. So in the configuration, you have the documents. This is where you just keep documents or certifications. You can import it. And you have one of the most important parts I want us to know is also custom attributes. This application is actually very seamless in the sense that if I come to employee here, right, you can see that I have all these details here in the private information. So there are some details I might want to need about this employee that are not present here. If the, let's say NIN, BVN, you see those are not present here. So I can have a custom attribute to actually display those details for that employee. So for example, if I come to configuration and I come to custom attribute and I come to add, I can give the attribute a name, BVN. I can enable it. What's the input type? Is it going to be combo box or tests? So if I click on tests, I'll create another one called NIN and enable it. I can make it unique and confirm. So if I come to employee here and I click on this employee, right, and I come to custom attributes, you see that I'll see those informations. So I can easily just input the information for the employees. So you can see how seamless that is. So any of the other informations that they want, you can actually have that in the custom attribute. And also you have this capture side where you can, import employees picture into the application. I don't have a picture here, so let's see if I could get one picture. I don't really have a picture here that I can use. So let's just I don't have a picture here I can use. Let me see if this will work. It won't work here. So this is where you just upload a picture, for your employee, or you capture. So if you click on capture, you have to use a camera that's a system that has a camera. So if I click on capture, you can see my face. I don't know if you can see that. And okay, let me allow. So you can see my face, right? You can see me. Then I can just capture myself and click on confirm, and my face appears. Yeah. So also one of the important parts in the configuration is also the employee ID settings when you come to the configuration. So the employee ID settings, here in the employee, if I choose to add an employee, if I use a digit, this should throw me an error. This should throw me an error. You see? So how do we solve this issue? Because in an organization, you can have some employee that will say they have MEE/55 something, hyphen something HSC. There are some organizations that have stuff like this. How do you cater for that? So you cater for that by if you have organizations like that, before registering employees at all, you need to come to configuration and disable this number, like number employee ID. You need to disable this. So when you disable this, I can now easily come here, and I even need to clear all these users, because I think if I should do that now, I think I'll get an error. MEGHT22. I think this should throw me an error, but let me just try this. Okay, good. So you could see that I was able to create an employee with this ID without number, right? So this is achieved because in the configuration I've set that I want the employee to not be ordered by number. I don't want the employee ID to be just number. I want to be flexible with it. So, but this also has its downside, because some devices don't support these characters. So if you are now pushing employees to device, you would have issues with that because some devices don't support these characters as IDs. So it's always important that whenever you are using it, you are not using it, probably you have instances where, because a lot of people use Biotime just for data storage, just to store records of employee informations and not necessarily using the device, right? And a lot of people use it for, they use the mobile application without using the device. So in cases like that, you can use something like, you can use that, right? So that's for the employee side. I'm going to move to the device side because we don't have a lot of time. So the device side is also a very important part, right? And okay, Ismail, do you want to ask questions? So let me take some questions before we move on. Yeah, Ismail.
No, maybe it's a mistake. I didn't have questions, sir.
Okay. Friday.
Yes, I have a question. You just said something that, so I can use the Biotime with the mobile without having to buy the device, right?
Yes, but you have to buy the mobile appliance. So you could see that in this section I told you,
yes,
the app counts. You need to buy the app counts. So let's say you want to use the application, right? And you have to buy the number of apps. It's not free. So for the number of employees, you want to let them use the app. So that's the number that we are going to purchase. Yeah.
Okay, now one thing again, if I use the mobile, just the same thing, because I had a client like that. We're doing back and front with one of the sales personnel, and at the end I lost that day. Will it be able? Do I need to, because geofencing, will you be able to capture where the staff clocked in from?
Don't worry, we'll get there. Yeah,
okay.
We'll get there. You'll see it. Yeah. Let's proceed. Yeah. So if you come to the device part, so let's come to the device part now. So in the device part, you can see all these details, so you don't have to worry. I'll break them down. So here you have the device name, you have the serial number, you have the area, you have the device IP. When you are adding device on and Biotime, right, you don't need to add manually. You just need to ensure that your connections are right. And what do I mean by your connections are right? Just like I explained in our last classes, you ensure that on the device, the server address is imputed. So if the server address is like my own here, right, my IP address and my port. So you can see my IP address here and my port number here, 81. So it means your server address for the device is now going to be is now going to be 192.168.3.182, and the ports is going to be 81 based on what I explained yesterday, right? Because this is my IP address of where the system was installed, and this is the port. But in cases like this, where I'm using a production application that is served publicly, what I just need to do is to come here, impute the address, which is this HTTPS, and the port, which was how you guys were able to log in using your phone. So same concept applies to the device. So for the device has three status. The first status is red, this red icon, which shows that the device is offline. It means there's a disconnection between the device and the server. The second status is this not authorized status. So when your configuration is right and the device has been added, you are going to see this information, the information of the device. Like for this application now, so this device with this serial number has been added to this application, but the software doesn't know what to do with it because it doesn't know area, it doesn't know anything. So the software is going to put it in a not authorized state. So now it's now up to you to now come here, come to this auto add, and now set an area for the device. You set your area, you set your time zone, and you're in Nigeria, and you're in GMT+1, Nigeria. Is it going to be a registration device? Are you going to use the device to register users? Is it an attendance device? What's the heartbeat? Request heartbeat means how many seconds do you want the software to be communicating with the device? Is it every second? So every second the software will go, is there a new update on this device? Is there a new data on this device? Has a new employer been added to this device? So that comes up every 10 seconds. You can increase it if you don't want the software to be requesting data from the device, or you can reduce it if you want it to be, syncing every time. And you see the transfer mode. You want it in real time, or you want it to be time-based, like, okay, when should this data be transferred from the device to the software, right? So this is where you set that. So once you've set that, you are going to now have this status green. This green status shows you that the device is connected. After setting the status, that is when you are now going to see the user quantities, the fingerprint quantities, the face quantities, the palm quantities, and the transaction quantity on the device. If there are no users on the device, you are going to get 0000. But if there are users and fingerprints, you are going to see data on the device. Right? And there's also area where you create a new area. So you can see that area is an identifier of the device. If you don't add an area, the device will just be showing not authorized, this icon. This Mood Cafe was just renamed to not authorized because the default area on an application is not authorized. So if I log into my application, and I come to device, and I come to area, you are going to see that not authorized is the default area, and it has the area code of 1. So if I come back to this Mood Cafe and I check, inspect the area, you see that the area code of 1 is Mood Cafe. It was renamed. So it means the user renamed the not authorized to Mood Cafe. So not authorized means the device the software has identified it, but this is the icon. It doesn't know where to assign it. So you now be the one to now assign an area to the device. So here is the device command. This is where you see whatever activities happening on the device. If it was rebooted, if something happened, this is where you get that. And you have message, public and private message. So this, I can send a message to users on an app. I can send a private message also to a particular employee on an application. So this is just an optional feature. Then you have the data, where you see the total number of data on the device, right? And you see their fingerprint counts, their card number, their palm counts, their verified type, on the device. You also get to see their work code and the about templates. Is it fingerprints? Is it face? You also see the about photo, which describes their pictures, and you also see transactions. For all the transactions happening on a particular device, you can actually see what is happening. Then you have the logs, operation logs of the device. If there's an error with the device, you can get this. So this log part is important for us, the support team at ZKTeco, because it helps us determine what is actually wrong with the device. Say you have an issues with the device, right? So it helps us. Then we have the upload log for any upload that is done to the device. Then you have the command log, which is similar to the initial command log shoulder. So these parts are for support team. Then now, before I move on, let me take question. You want to tell it?
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
My question comes in this area you talked about.
Yeah.
Now, you said that we don't add this device manually, but if your connection is okay, it will come up for you to. Now, if your connection is okay, I discover something that sometimes the device, if you check the device is HTTPX, while the software is HTTP. Sometimes the software is HTTPS and the device is HTTP. What will you do in a situation like that?
So, what you asked is a very good question, and I know how you want to word it. The thing is that it's very important when you are, I showed you, it's very important when you are adding the device, and I talked about the ports, right? If you look at my own application here, my application here, I'm using port 81, and I showed us yesterday in the server controller, right? Let me see if I can spawn up the server controller. In my server controller, I showed us stop share. In my server controller, here, you can see in my server controller here, for my own inbuilt software here that has no data, you can see that I have my own as HTTP with the port at 81. So if I'm going to be connecting it on the device, I have to use HTTP. But if I check this HTTPS too, if I want to use that HTTPS, depending on the device, I have to specify HTTPS. So on the device, you can specify HTTP or HTTPS on the device. There's an option for you to switch to HTTP or switch to HTTPS. So you can now switch and select the one you are using. Whatever is here has to match with what you are putting on the device. For those that are connected to the application, the reason why you were able to connect to the app was because this is HTTPS. Can you see? If you use HTTP, it won't work, because if I also log into this application with HTTP, it's not going to open. See one example here. You see, I've removed HTTPS. If I log in, it's going to throw me, it should throw me error. It should throw me error. So I guess this demo was also, so it's even automatically resolved to HTTPS, right? Even when I remove the HTTP, it's still automatically resolved to HTTPS for me, because that is how they've set it. But in this case, if I try to use HTTPS here, I should get something like, I should get a bad request. Can you see? This same thing here is the same thing here. Can you see? But here, because I specified HTTP, and the software is going to open for me. If I come back here and specify and remove this S and put T, you can see that the software opens. If I go back and put S, the software will not open, because HTTPS is not enabled. So likewise, if you do the same for the device, you are also going to get the same error from the device. So the device is not going to connect.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. So now, for those with the app, so I need to log in and log out again. Yeah. So for those with the application, so you can see the mobile app part. I want us to pay attention. So the accounts, so these are the accounts that are logged into the mobile app. You can see my own, this is my own 1000 iOS, the client type. All the others, everyone that's logged in, you are using Android. I'm sure, who is the ID 10007? I'm sure this person is using Android, right? So Angela is using Android. So you can see that the system automatically stores your section, and there's a device token for you, right? So if I come to the geofence, right, Geofence is where you set, just like the question I think Friday asked, that's geofencing. So this is where you set the location of clocking, and we are going to try that now, right? So I'm going to do a location setup, right? I'm going to add a location. So one thing about this is you have to impute the location. So I'm going to be using my office as my location, right? So say VI 64 Adetokunbo. So I'm just searching it, Adetokunbo. So this is basically a simple implementation, right? It was just using Google Map API to actually run this. So I've set, this is the location of my office. This is where my office is situated. I'm going to click on confirm. And so I've set my location. Someone should give me their location, Ajala or anybody, anyone with the app that is logged in into the app right now.
Yes, Akonjo.
Right. Akonjo.
Yes.
Akonjo, where number what?
Okay, 152.
152.
Yes, Akonjo Road. Yeah, Egbeda.
So I'm just going to put this, right? Egbeda. Yeah.
Yes,
so,
correct.
So Egbeda, right? I'm just going to do these two locations. We don't really want so much details. So now I'm going to come to employee setup, right? So now Friday, what ID are you logged in with?
005.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now Friday is logged in, right? I want to geofence Friday, right? Friday is currently at Akunwojo. So we are going to try two things. I'm going to geofence Friday to be able to clock at Akunwojo today, right? And I can set the end date to maybe on the 6th. And I'm going to geofence Ajala too. You know, Ajala is not at Akunwojo. So Friday at Ajala, I want to geofence them. And they have to be 50-meter radius to that location in Akunwojo. So that's like radius to that exact location. You are in 152 Abi Friday.
Yes.
So I'm just going to put 50 meters. So anyone 50 meters within that location should be able to clock. Now I'm going to click OK. So Ajala is 1007. Friday is 1005. So now on the application, I want Friday to, so I'm going to go to the dashboard, right? So Friday, I want you to clock in. Just click on this clock in icon. So it will ask you for your work code. Just select work one, and it will ask you for your photo. Just take a picture. You might not necessarily take your own picture, just take any picture. And function key is if you are checking in or checking it. So I want you to do that now. For both Ajala and Friday should do that now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Friday was able to clock. I could see that Friday was able to clock. And Ajala would not be able to clock because Ajala is not in this geolocation. So you could see that Friday clock at 154 Shobo Alech Street. But Ajala will not be able to clock because Ajala is not in Friday's location, so it's not going to clock. So for employees that are using the mobile app, they have to be at that location within that radius. So you can set 20 meters, you can set 10 meters to that exact location. So if they are not at that location, they won't be able to clock in. So now for Friday, I'm going to geofence Friday back to my location and ask Friday to try to check in from that location. So I'm going to change Friday's location to Victoria Island. Yeah, 50 meters. So I've changed Friday's location to Victoria Island. So Friday, can you try to clock? Whatever error it throws to you, you should screenshot it and send it to the group. Yeah. Now try to clock.
Okay.
My own is still just showing loading. It does not give me any
Yes,
error.
it will be loading because you are not in that location. So you are
Okay.
you won't.
So it showed me the error because it's fast. So not,
So,
let me try to do
so
it.
just
Mine
do it.
showed me network error.
Yes, so you are not going to be able to clock because you are not in that radius in VR. So you get the concept, right?
Yes.
So that's just because so you can do this for different employees in different locations. So you can set geofencing, geotagging for different employees in different locations. So you can also do it by department, right? Say you have a whole IT department and they are meant to log in at a particular area, right? So you can set that in the department side. So that's
so I have done that. It's still out of location.
Out of location, exactly. So you can screenshot and send it to the group,
yeah,
so everyone can see it. Yeah. So that's how it just basically works. So then in the configuration, so this is where the same configuration you set when you are adding the device. So you can just also set that here in the configuration settings. So I'm sure we are good with the geofencing, right? So now let's go to the attendance, right? The attendance part is one of the very important parts, and will be ending the class with the attendance. So, the time is 11. So, okay, we still have some time. So the attendance module, right? The attendance module is one of the most important parts because this is where the HR sets rules and policies as regards employee clock in and clock out time, right? It's one of the most important parts. And how is it important? So in our organizations, we 9 to 5ers, right? We have a certain standard and certain time where we come to work and when we leave work. So some cases to work 9 to 5, 8 to 10, right? And that 9 to 5 applies from Monday to Friday. So take for example me, I come to work 8 o'clock, I close 4:30, which means from Monday to Friday, right? So that is my shift settings. So for an employee, you'll see what we call the workbench when you come to the attendance module. In the workbench, it gives you a step-by-step details on how to quickly run this quick setup. So Biotime has made it easy for everyone. So you don't have to be overwhelmed with the amount of information you are seeing here. You just have to follow the basic instructions. So the system is telling you that the basic thing you need here are just setting up, running your calculation and generating your reports. Those are the basic steps you need to achieve. If I come to, so it's now telling you the first step is to set a break time for employees, right? So if I click on break time, right, I can add different break time for employees. For example, in my office, my break time is 12:30 to 1, right? To 1:30, that's 60 minutes, 60-minute break time. Some organizations 11 to 12, right? So you have your break time, 60 minutes. You can set the break time. So when you are done setting break time, the next thing you want to do is to set the timetable. So timetable is the time the employee is meant to visit, is meant to resume work and meant to close from work. From my case, 8 to 4:30, some employees 9 to 5, some 9 to 6, So then there are two types. We have the normal timetable and we have the flexible time. We have the normal timetable and we have the flexible timetable. So if I click on the normal timetable, right, so you are going to see the name of the timetable and you are going to see some basic parameters. We have the basic settings, break time setting, overtime rule settings. The basic setting is the one of the most important parts. In the basic settings, you have the check-in, you have the check-out, you have the check-in start, check-out starts. So first you define the rule. Okay, employees are meant to check in 9 o'clock and they are meant to check out 6 o'clock. Check-in is meant to start by what time? Like, when is check-in meant to start? You know, in some cases you have early bed. So in some cases you have early beds, right? Early beds that would, you know, come to the work like as early as possible, right? So you might want to set like 5. In my office, I have people that come to work 5 o'clock, you know, before the check-in, before check-in ends. Like, you have to come to work before 8 o'clock. So you can set your check-in starts to that time, then your check-in is ending when. So in most cases, organizations will say, come to work 8 o'clock, work starts 8 o'clock. So check-in end, you might be given a grace of 10 minutes, like 8:10, you'll be considered late for work, you know, so that's your check-in end. Then we have something we call cross days. I'm going to come to that. In the checkout, you have the time they are leaving the facility, right? The time they are closing from work. So checkout starts in Nigerian organizations. We checkout starts the time they are meant to close, and check-in ends probably 2-3 hours after, you know, the office have closed, because of people that still wants to like stay behind and, you know, do some certain activities. So that's for the normal workers. Now you don't have people that work for, let's say they resume, people that do night shifts, right? That we resume maybe 5 p.m. and close the next day. And this is where the cross day applies. So let's take, for example, an employee is coming to work 17:00, right? So he's checking in 17:00, check-in starts 16:00, check-in ends 18:00, right? And the employee is checking out the next day by 8 o'clock, right? And they are checkout will start 7 o'clock. You now need to add a cross day of 1, because the employee is checking out the next day, not that same day. So that is where I had a cross day of one day, which means this employee will work from 16:00 this day till the next day, 8 o'clock the next day. So that's why you have this cross day like settings, right? So then you have the break time. So you can now apply break time to the timetable. I can name it timetable shifts nights, just for the sake of naming. So you can add the timetable to the shifts, right? And add some unscheduled time. So if they are going to be leaving early out or early, they are going to be leaving late, you know, so you can add those. Then one important part is now the overtime rule, and some people, you know, miss this overtime rule. So overtime is, you know, it's the hours in which an employee would work outside the regular hours, right? So let's take, for example, some organization, after working 9 to 5, you still have some employees that have to stay at work to do some certain things. Or you work Monday to Friday, and as an employee, you have to, you know, come back on, you have to come on Saturday, which is not your regular day, to do some certain things at work, you know, to do some certain configurations at work. So those things, you know, has to be, you know, factored. So in this, you have maximum overtime and you have the overtime, right? Friday, can you mute, please? So,
oh, sorry, please.
So if I click on enable maximum overtime, right, I can set a maximum overtime duration, right? What is the maximum time an employee can spend for my overtime, right? I can manipulate that. And overtime, an employee's minutes so number of minutes. 60 minutes is 1 hour, 120 minutes, 2 hours, 180, 3 hours, right? So I can set 244 hours. So I set that maximum overtime is 240 minutes, which is 4 hours an employee can spend. Then I can now enable my overtime. And in this overtime, you see these three like panes of data. And if I click on this drop down, so you're going to see what we call normal overtime, weekend overtime, and holiday overtime. Now, normal overtime is the overtime that happens in your regular work hours. So let's say between Monday to Friday. If I select normal overtime here, it means between Monday to Friday, what is the minimum hours I would work, and what is the hours I'm going to like do that work to. So some companies can set 1 to 2 hours. So you work within this work hours range, within 1 to 2 hours, you should be able to be done with your overtime. And for weekend overtime, this overtime would only apply on days your shifts are not applied, which is Saturday and Sunday. The system recognizes Saturday and Sunday as the weekend shift. So for the work hours range, I can now see a weekend overtime would be, my weekend overtime would also be 1 to 2 hours. Then we now have holiday overtime. So for holiday overtime, you need to specify your holidays in the benefit management, and I'm going to show us. So that I can also set 1 to 2, but right now I've not created the holiday, so you don't need to add that. So if you click on confirm, right, your shift night has been created. Your employee checking in at 7 and they're checking out at 8 the next day morning. So if I come to benefit management, you see where we call holiday. So in this holiday, you need to create all the holidays that you have as an organization: Salah, Christmas, Christmas, New Year. You need to create all those holidays. So when you've created all the holidays, so if an employee works on that day for between 1 to 2 hours, the system is going to recognize that as an holiday overtime because the work sets in between the holiday work hour. So if I click on workbench, so you can see that the timetable part has been set. So if we now come to the shift side, now I explained that when you work, your timetable is a function of time. You work 8 to 5. Shift is now putting days into that work day. So I can say shifts for night people, right? Just to give any, right? And so now the shift night I created, right? What day does it apply? So I can say it should apply on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. This person will do night shift on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. Right, Saturday, Sunday, I can do all that. So you are assigning that timetable in days, in the number of days. Then you are setting an auto shift because you want it to be a continuous thing that happens, week on week. Then I can now confirm. So when you confirm, it means I've set my shift for night people. So the next thing is now to schedule. After you've created everything, right, you now want to schedule your employees, right? So if I come to schedule assignments, you are going to be seeing what we call department schedule, group schedule, or employee schedule. So you can schedule a particular employee to a particular shift, right? So if I click on this employee and add schedule, it's going to tell me to just assign this shift, right? You can see the shift I created. So I can assign the shift to that employee, to me, and set the day this shift should apply. I can set from now to say 2027, because if it's not going to change, if I'm going to be doing night shifts in 2027, the HR can just set that. And for temporary schedule, if I have like a very dynamic shift, like I come to shift today, I come to work today, tomorrow I have to do morning shift, next tomorrow I have to do night shift, next tomorrow I'm off. That is where temporary schedule applies. So in temporary schedule, I can just select the employee, select the shift, and now start applying it on the time. So this employee will come do night shift today, we do morning shift tomorrow, we do afternoon shift on the 8th of Monday, we do morning and afternoon on the 8th, we do afternoon on the Wednesday 10th. You can now set that schedule in a calendar like format, right? So that's how to do this temporary schedule. So when you're now done, you can now preview your schedule by person or by schedule view, right? So you can now preview the schedule. So you can see that everything follows the workbench principle. You set your timetable, you set your shifts, and you schedule. And so the next thing is now the attendance calculation. So the way the attendance work is that when you clock in on your device, right, the device sends your information to what we call the transaction reports, this transaction module, right? This transaction module houses your information. Do you understand? And this transaction works irrespective of whatever shift you set. It's just to take the records where you clock in, when you clock in on the device and who clocked in. If it's an unknown person, you're going to get that record. So what the system will now do is to take that report from transaction and structure it into daily, monthly, or weekly reports. Right. So that's why calculation is important. So in some cases where you've over a month, you've not done anything over a month, and now at the end of the month you want to pay salaries and you want to generate daily reports for the employees, then you can run calculation first by selecting the start date and end date, run your calculation, and now after you run your calculation, you can now check the time card and check employees that were meant to clock in, clock out on a particular day, right? So you can see the clock in, clock out, total hours, worked hours, so this person worked for 8 hours, 13 minutes, and this person worked for unscheduled hours in 30 minutes, the regular hours, 8 hours, 2 minutes. This person left early for 47 minutes, so you can get those informations, right? So you can get those informations and you can now export them as PDF, CSV, or Excel, right? So you can do the same for the overtime reports. You can generate reports for leave, late in, early out, absence, exception. So you can generate multiple reports, both for daily, you can generate for weekly, you can also generate for monthly. So for monthly uses status to show you. So status like indicators like P for regular, L for late, A for absence, right? So if you see on today, this person's status is P, which means the person completed their normal regular attendance. If you see L, this means this person was late today. If you see A, this person was absent today. So you can also download as CSV, PDF, or TST. So you can generate your reports. So you also have summary reports to give you summary of attendance, summary of overtime, summary of leave. So I want us to look at each of these reports one by one. It's going to be part of our work our assignments, assessments, right, to actually look at each of the reports and explain what they do, how they work. So I want us to, pay attention to that. So before we end this section, I'm just going to take one last part. I'm going to emphasize on that part tomorrow because this person asked a question on that. Someone asked a question on that. So, and it's called user rule. The users of the system. Currently I have admin. I'm an admin user. Oh, before I start, let me take questions. Ismail, please be fast. We have 5 minutes to end the section.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sir, I have 2 questions, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm finding it difficult on my mobile app to open. The username and the password. Is it the same thing with the one on my system? That is the first question, sir.
No, it's not the same thing.
Okay, I have to create this.
I showed you here in the employee that's okay. On another. So I showed you here in the employee where you can set in the attendance settings,
Yes.
right? You can set self-service password. This safe password, you have to input it. So this password and the ID is what you use to log into the app. You understand?
Okay.
So
Okay, I get it. Yes, the second is pertaining to the attendance settings you just go through now. I asked a question like that yesterday. That even that I encountered working with this app for a particular customer, and recently the customer is calling me that the report they are getting is so cumbersome that it's not precise. So I want to know how do we get a precise report on this?
So when you say cumbersome, I really need to understand that context, right? Because if you say the report is too, do you mean too much?
Yes, that is voluminous.
Yeah, so it depends, right? If they are generating by time card or they are generating by monthly reports, see, there are so many reports here. So if they are generating daily reports, you know that it will definitely be voluminous because you are talking about daily reports for one person. So if one person clock for 30 days, right, it means that person will, report for 30 days, right? So it will be much. So for organizations like that, they can just come to monthly status and generate the monthly status of the users, right? So generate the monthly status. So you can see how simple this monthly status is. For this user, for this month, this person has been absent. This person left early but was in, so you can see like that. So they can use this status here to actually reconcile what and if you want to view more information, they can easily just come to the time card and view the information about that person for that particular day.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Everest.
Okay, so my question is when you are talking about device, you talked you emphasize on heartbeat. What's the work of the heartbeat? What does it do to a device?
Yeah, so the heartbeat is, when I was explaining yesterday, I said client and server communication, right? Heartbeat means the device sending a request to the clients, like in a layman's time, it's just like you are meant to be peeping through. You are meant to be checking a warehouse every 10 seconds to see
like an interval of time, sir.
Yes, like you are meant to be checking a warehouse every 10 seconds to see if a product is in the warehouse, So you have to go there every 10 seconds. So every 10 seconds, you are meant to go to the warehouse, check if there's a new product. If there's no new product, close, go back. After 10 seconds, come back. So same thing with the server. This is the time for the server to check the device, which is the client. Okay, is there data in this? If there's no data, it waits after 10 seconds. Is there data in this? If there's data, it's, picks up the data or sends the data, to the back to the device, right? Picks up the data or sends data from its own end to the device. So it's just to keep that synchronization of information flowing between the two devices within a certain interval. So that's what the heartbeat is all about. Yeah, Ufomba. Yeah, Everest, I hope that's clear.
Yes, but will the device be offline at that moment? Let's take, for instance, an iClock.
Yeah,
iClock communicates to a server. Will it be offline within that time of heartbeat?
No. It's not offline. It's just for the server to check. The software needs to know if a device is online or offline, right? So, and how does it know? It knows by checking. Is this device, what is wrong with this device? That's why I gave the example. You are meant to be checking a warehouse every 10 seconds, right? If anything is lost in that warehouse, you alert people that, something is lost. Too. If everything is added, you alert something is added. Too. If the device is offline, the system will tell you, device is offline. Then you see the state changes. So everything is, the heartbeat is like a command request that is being sent. If the device is back online, you see it online. It means the system telling you that this device is back online. So it's just a way of this. So in this case, the system is you that you are checking the warehouse. The warehouse is the device. I hope that analogy is clear.
Okay, so yes, thank you, sir.
Yeah, Ufomba.
Okay, thank you. So I just wanted to confirm the mobile app is only for clock in and clock out, right? Or can you use it to generate reports?
Yeah, so if you have admin privilege, you can also use it to generate reports. If you have admin privilege, it does some other things. You can view your attendance, you can view your contact card to see the number of your employees. So, but it depends on the privilege you have. So you see, if you come to where I put employee, right? For this employee, the app settings, right? You can see the app rule. The app rule, if I select administrator, it means I'm going to see everybody's details, and that details will now be used, right? But if it is employee, it means you are just going to have employee rule. So you are going to use the app to fill your leave, to see or make your request, check your attendance, your profile, use it to check in and check out. That's all. And receives that.
That's fine. Thank you.
All right. We've come to the end of the class. Next week we are going to continue. We're going to really brush up to complete the Biotime, and before we move to the CV access, it's important. Thank you very much, everybody. We are going to be, the assessment is going to be shared probably tomorrow or Saturday, and once it is shared, I want us to do it. It's going to be difficult. This one is going to be tough this time, and you really must pay attention and interact in the group, ask questions in the group. Yeah, Ufomba.
I'm so sorry. I just have to bring my hand down.
Oh, okay. All right. So thank you very much, everybody. So let's keep the conversations in the group. I'll see you next week, next time. Yeah, Ivatech wants to ask a question.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Please, it's concerning the assessments and also the YouTube pages. Like for me now, I find it difficult coming online by this time. It's just today, I just tried to make it. So most times I rely on them watching the YouTube videos of the classes at night.
Yeah.
You know, when do we get those uploads on YouTube? And also for the assessments, sometimes I find it difficult to get access to the site. Yes.
So
even up to now, that assessment I've not been able to
so
do.
you really need to So you see, when the assessment has been shared for that week, you are going to see, the link will be shared and it will be pinged. That link, now for week 3, you are going to see the link and that link will be shared with you. So you must use that link to submit your assessment, to check for the assessment that was given, and also to submit your assessment. So that particular link, some of you might be using other links, because I used to see some requests for links that are not even part of the links that was shared. So I want us to really pay attention. Once the link is shared, I want us to be able to access the link, and you understand. And for the YouTube, some videos are on the YouTube, but I want us to I would apologize to us. There's been some downtime. Some videos are meant to be up. Even yesterday's one is meant to already. It's meant to be up, but you don't have to worry. Very soon you'll get the videos will be shared, and also before the end of the week you get all the videos on what we've discussed about. You get those videos. Chukuma, last questions from Chukuma Rista.
You talked about normal timetable. You did not later talk about the flexible timetable. So, in what scenario can we use the flexible timetable?
So, apologies for that. So, flexible timetable is only used for employees that they are not going to spend too much long time. Probably in this case you are going to say your organization sends you to another location, right? Like another of your company. Maybe every three months you are always going to that company, right? So they can keep a separate flexible timetable for you, so that when you go to that company, you are scheduled based on that flexible timetable and not the normal timetable that is general to your timetable. So it's same thing. You have your check-in, check-out, and you have your work time, which is the number of times you actually, how many minutes have you spent, working. I hope that's clear.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody. I see you guys next week in the next class. I want us to please work on the assignments, and thank you. God bless you, everybody. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the class. Bless you.